You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm a-telling you why.
Why?
Santa Claus is coming to town, gather round. He's making a list and checking it twice, he's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming, you mean the big fat man with the long white beard. He's coming to town.
Day 3.
Hello.
I'm here with Maddie today, and we have some very pressing matters.
Very pressing. But you're going to love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll start off with like the splurge or the treat yourself for today.
Mm-hmm.
The wool pressing mats. I love these. They are my absolute favorite. This is actually my pressing mat. I bought the big one last year, treated myself. I used to have, well, I still do have the smaller 17 by 24, I think it is, something like that. Oh no, this one's 14 by 18. We have a 17 by 24 as well. We just don't actually have one right here. So this year we have them in, I think it's 5 different sizes.
I think so.
And this one is made to fit one of the big boards. If you have one of those, you can trim it to fit your ironing station however big you want it. You could even buy one and split it with a friend. Mm-hmm. If you only need like half a one. Such a good idea to get, a bigger wool mat, but, a little bit less priced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do buy that, you want to make sure you're not putting it on your dining room table and ironing with it, because you'll wreck it. Not the mat, your table.
Yeah. When you have it on a painted surface or a wood surface, painted, stained, varathaned, that kind of thing, you want to make sure that you are protecting the surface underneath by having it on an ironing board or some sort of pressing board. The heat and the steam can go through them. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody tells you that they're safe to use on, all different kinds of surfaces, unless it's like Formica, countertop material or stone. I'd even be leery of that, worrying about the heat to break it, or metal. You'd want to have something to protect the surface underneath. Other than that, though, they are so fantastic. They're like pressing your seams from both sides because they retain the heat and the moisture. And we had the wool cleaning tools a couple of days ago.
One other thing I would say about that is we use them upstairs in our classroom, and what we have, I think you made them, isn't it plywood, and then you've put batting, and then the silver
it's
wrap.
Like silver ironing board fabric. I've made that to fit the stations here. Did the same thing at home.
Yeah, and that's all you really need under, and then you're protected.
Yep.
So
another idea for these too, some people have mentioned that they're getting black marks on their iron from their wool mat. Oh. If that's happening, I would look into the content of the wool mat. Sometimes they can be a mixture of fibers. They should be 100% wool. If they are 100% wool and you're still getting them, you could be kind of pulling out some lanolin, leftover lanolin from the wool, which could be doing that. You could have your iron set too high as well. As an alternative, you can always make a cover for these, like a sleeve out of your favorite fabric, and that would help to protect your wool mat. Mm-hmm. It will still work as intended. It will still retain the heat and all that good stuff.
Just like a pillowcase even, right?
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
Anything to cover it and protect it. I don't have a cover for this one, but I do for my smaller one because my cat likes to think that it's his bed. And no matter how many times I try to tell him that it's not, he doesn't listen.
Yeah. He knows his boss. Yeah.
So, in other pressing news, we have the wool pressing bar with clapper. So we were very sad to see that Gypsy Quilter had discontinued their large clapper because we thought that it was the perfect size, and they came out with this instead. So I'm not sure if we're still disappointed about that, but this is pretty neat. It's kind of like a strip stick and a clapper all in one. So if you've ever used our strip sticks, they are a rounded wood piece that is covered in a bit of batting and some fabric, and you lay your seam on top of it and it spreads it open. You press it and it actually stops you from flipping some of your seams the wrong side. If you look at Leanne's, these are nice and new. If you look at Leanne's, hers is like scorched all the way down because she has used it so much. It's one of her favorite tools, along with the clapper. So it will be interesting to see if she ends up taking one of these home.
She will.
Because that's like both her tools in one.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, if we're doing pressing, we could do the cleaner.
The iron cleaner?
Yeah.
How many times have you gotten fusible or something like that from one of your interfacings or anything else really stuck on the bottom of your iron?
When you're doing wool work, and I use soft fuse all the time, and it's on a white and you can't tell which side has the soft fuse on it, and you iron it and you think, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, then you have to pick it off and then you have to clean your iron. So
those, you just pull one of those out, throw it on your ironing board, iron over it a couple of times. You might need to like rub your iron on it while it's hot, and the iron cleaning cloths take it right off. So those are super awesome.
And then this one.
We also have the iron slide. It's an iron shoe, they call it. So it's basically that silver protective fabric that you find on some ironing boards. And it's made into kind of a sleeve for your iron to protect the surface. It also protects delicate fabrics when you're pressing those as well by stopping the shiny marks that the iron can sometimes leave on them.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing to get too if you sometimes work with those kinds of fabrics or with fusibles a lot and are just really tired. I'm not sure that I would use that with fusibles because then you'd be trying to clean it off of the iron slide. But I can see a lot of times when that would come in really handy.
Yeah. So then,
still
let's take our little travel bag here.
So this is it's called the iron bag. No, it's got to have.
I'll tell you, it's right in here. Storage bags, smart iron storage bag.
Yeah. So technically, it's made for an Aliso, but this will fit almost any iron.
Yeah.
We have it in the regular size and the travel size, and so
and it
cute.
zips around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Now they do recommend, of course, that you let your iron cool before you put it in there. But it's the type of fabric that if it was still a little warm, I wouldn't be too worried about putting it in. I really like it. It's cute. It's almost kind of like a wool felt texture.
Yeah. Like they used to put in boots.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so you can keep, your cord in there, your iron, and we have that in, again, the regular size and the travel size. So speaking of travel irons, we also have the travel size, the Mighty travel iron for our travel iron this year. And we've had it before, but went to the Steam Fast for a while, which are great irons. I have the Mighty travel iron. I like it. I use it all the time, especially when I'm sewing kind of in my living room sewing area rather than in my sewing room. And I just want to have a little bit.
Is it a full-size iron?
No, it's just a little travel iron.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's not like the Clover one where it's just like the little stick, but it's just a little travel iron. You can put water in them. They do steam. Okay. Yep. So we have those as well. I totally forgot to bring it today. And what else do we have? Oh, if you're ironing, you sometimes need starch. You could put water in this too if you wanted.
It's such a nice spray.
Yeah, very fine mist,
Yeah.
and it almost sort of continues to mist as you're doing it, so you're not finding that you're really
Pumping all the
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, my hairdresser uses that.
You know,
as well.
my daughter actually wanted me to bring one home for her, and I did.
Yeah.
For her to put her rosemary water on her hair.
Well.
So hot iron rest. If you have an iron that you leave face down, like an Aliso or one of those, or if you just like to leave your iron like that, you can do that on the iron rest, and it is good to go. That's a nice little stocking stuffer too.
Probably.
The
Probably those.
silicone position and press tools. These are brand new from Gypsy Quilter. They are great for applique and stuff like that, where you're working with little pieces,
Yeah.
close fingers to the iron.
Yeah.
You can use these to hold your pieces down instead of your fingers. So you don't have to have stuff on your fingers. They look like makeup brushes.
They do. I thought they were brushes when I first looked at
I
them.
was so confused when I first saw them. And these are actually a solid piece of silicone that you can use to hold down your item. So those are great for any sewer too, that, you know, if you're pressing tiny little seams, you can use those to open the seam and hold it down.
Yeah.
Or hold your applique pieces down as you're pressing those.
Yeah.
All that kind of
I
stuff.
could have used one in class today. Instead, I gave up on the project and thought I'll do it at home.
Speaking of applique, we also have the Clover design mat. I believe that's the design pro mat for doing applique. It comes with a nice sticky silicone mat. You can build your pieces on this and press them and position them to make sure that you have them all in the right place. Then it also comes with a pressing sheet that you can put over your items, press so that you're not getting your iron directly on them and potentially getting a bunch of fusible on your iron. And then you can just peel it right off and they're good to go. You can wash this in the sink, soap and water, if you've got it all caked with fusible, and it is ready to go just like new for the next time you have an applique project.
This would be good for a wool applique too, when you want to build, sometimes you're building flowers that have like 3 or 4 layers to it, or like a whole scene or whatever. When I do my wool applique, I usually always build the thing first and iron it all in place, and then you just peel it off and you put it on your foundation piece, and you can just sit and stitch
it's all
after
ready
that.
to go. Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea.
One more thing, and the seam roller. If you've got stuff that you can't use an iron on because it's fragile or
Vinyl.
will melt, you want to use something like a seam roller or a seam press, like a pressing bar. So we have the It's So Emma seam roller, which has been a long time favorite of ours. We love using it for vinyl and stuff like that. Even if you're just doing like paper piecing and stuff like that. I know I said the P word. It's very helpful for just doing your sort of in-between pieces if you don't want to get up to the iron every single time. It just sort of puts them in the right place for you to press them later once you've gone through. I mentioned the seam pressing bars as well. We have some coming from Quilter Select. They are super pretty. I'll pop some pictures into the video for them. They're like a pressing bar, like a wood pressing finger, seam presser, that sort of thing, depending on what you call it. And these are 3 different colors. We have a purple, a pink, and a turquoise.
And we know Leanne will buy the turquoise.
Absolutely. Maybe the purple one too.
Oh, she's into purple too.
Purple, yeah. So they are basically stone encased in a cold resin. So they almost look like jewelry or fine, cutlery or something like that. But they're gorgeous, great for pressing open your seams if you don't use an iron, and they'll just look super pretty.
Just leave it on your counter, your table, while you're stitching.
And then we have...
I don't think we talked about that.
The free fuse, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're at the quilting stage, some people like this for embroidery or for applique as well. I haven't personally tried it for applique.
No, I haven't either.
But there are a few people around who swear by it. It is the free fuse from Quilter Select. We have it in 2 versions. It's the same thing, but you can buy a refill or you can buy the little shaker bottle. So you put your refill into the shaker bottle and you can sprinkle it out kind of like you would salt. And then you iron over it and it fuses your fabric or your batting or whatever it is that you're using it for together. It does not smell at all. I tried it when we first got it. I think it works great. Yeah. It's one of those nice alternatives to 505 or fusible batting if you don't like to use that.
I like the batting,
Yep.
the fusible batting. But I haven't tried this. I would like to try this. Yeah.
Yeah. It works very well.
Good.
And then if you're still looking for some more rulers, we have a huge selection of Quilter Select rulers available today. And
they're wonderful. They have the silicone on the back of them, so when it's on the fabric, it's not going to move. And, you're not going to cut off.
How many times have you gone to cut, a long seam and all of a sudden at the last little bit, you didn't reposition your hand and that ruler slips?
So many times.
That just doesn't happen with the Quilter Select rulers.
And it's funny, when we first got them in, I'm not even sure how many years ago that is, we replaced them at our cutting stations and we didn't like them. Because we were so used to
just
being able to just,
and they don't do that.
And within a week, it was like, these are great, And
I'd go home and use my own rulers at home, and I'd be like, these suck. And slowly replacing rulers that I already had at home with Quilter Select versions, or even better sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the ones you use all the time.
Yeah.
Like I always use a 6x12, a 6x6, even 9x9, and my 16 and a half.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yep. So the one that I will mention, because I know a couple of years ago we had a few people order it in because we were unaware that they had discontinued the biggest size for squaring up, and that was the 18x18. They've brought it back. So if you're looking for that nice big square up ruler, it's back again. You can order it, and there is no better ruler to have as a big square up ruler than the 18x18 Quilter Select. So if you're looking to treat yourself, grab a big
mat.
wool mat and a 18x18 inch ruler and come back again tomorrow.
We'll be here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm a-telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.